Thank you, everybody who is joining us live. Of course, we're going to be going on, trying to post this on the YouTube as well. If you don't know why we're here, we're going to be talking a little bit about going from unfulfilled to being fulfilled. If you don't know what this is about, my amazing husband has written a book that is just behind you over there. And we did a part one, getting to know you, part one, talking about the fundamentals that are part of the book, and you can find that on Master Builder 2022 on YouTube, or Building Blocks on YouTube. You can find that as well. So we're going to get on with it now. So tell the people who you are and and where you come from.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ayo, and I'm from Middleton.
Woo!
Man like Des.
Middleton.
Let's go, Des.
Middleton in Manchester. So talk a bit about Middleton in Manchester. Today, in this particular session, like I said, if you've not caught up with what we've done before, go ahead and go to the YouTube, Master Builders 2022. We've got part one in there. It's really, really good. I'm not going to lie. It's really, really good.
We've got some really good feedback. So, I'm grateful. I'm grateful, yeah.
Yeah, really, really good feedback. So on that note, do you want to say thank you to the people who have supported and have said hello? And
well, I mean, I think what I'm grateful for is that the message is getting across, and people are really feeling like the book is speaking to them where they are, yeah. And the messages in the book are speaking to them where they are. So for me, that's the most important thing. Trying to make sure that people feel like they're able to move, forward in life. Because I'm just the vessel. I think the most important thing is that people are able to move themselves forward. So that's what I'm most excited about.
I think that's great. And as well, I think one of the things that we're going to talk about today is this notion of going from unfulfilled to fulfilled. We're going to talk about burnout, some of the signs of burnout, and some of the steps that you can take. Because I think in this season, a lot of people are experiencing that. A lot of people are just thinking, do you know what? Maybe I'm tired of life happening to me, and maybe I want to happen to life. And you've not maybe realized how this rut that you've been getting stuck in really is a series of just you being unfulfilled. So talk to me a bit about what it means to be unfulfilled in your eyes. Yeah,
so a good question. I think for me, I firmly believe that everybody in this world was designed to do something, and doing that thing is the thing that gives you life. We all have gifts and we all have passions and stuff, and the things that we love to do that are inside us, they give us life. It's not even like there's energy involved in doing them. I get energy from doing those things.
Yeah.
But I think my personal belief is that there's a difference between work and job. Yeah. And a lot of us have put ourselves in a position where we're doing a job and we're exchanging time for money, and we're not necessarily feeding the spiritual thing on the inside of us to say, well, why am I here? Because doing that thing, again, gives you life. Yeah. And being unfulfilled either is, maybe not being aware of the thing that you are there to contribute, or being aware of the fact that I'm in a position that I'm not sure this is where I'm supposed to be. So yeah, that's for me is the biggest sign, if you will.
So do you think that being unfulfilled is just what's the difference between thinking, do you know what, I'm a little bit bored with what's going on with my life, and that why is it as deep as being unfulfilled? Why can't it just be that I desire a change?
I mean, I think the thing is the premise, like I said before, is that I think that there is something that we are supposed to go through in life that is going to fulfill us.
Yeah.
So that's, for me, that's a starting point. Being in a situation where I'm supposed to be fulfilled, because I don't think necessarily everybody feels like that. I am supposed to experience and come home and think, I'm really glad I'm alive to do this thing and be in this place. So that's the starting point. Sorry, the question again?
What's the difference between being bored and being unfulfilled? Why is
Bored,
it as
okay.
deep as being unfulfilled?
Good, good. I mean, I think that it's there's going to be ups and downs anyway,
Yeah.
and it's difficult to tell these things apart. Am I just bored or am I not fulfilled? Because even in chasing after fulfillment, there's going to be some times where you're hitting resistance and you're going to have to push through things. I think having clarity as to the why you're doing something is really important, and I think being intentional. So, for instance, if I decide I'm going to walk a marathon, there'll come a time where it won't be pleasant.
Yeah.
And as a consequence of the decision I made beforehand, I'm going to continue to do it because I know that at the end of it, I'm going to feel the life and the fulfillment. But if I'm just, doing things and walking around and do whatever,
Yeah.
am I going to be, I don't think that I'm going to have the reinforcement to be able to say, I'm going to continue to do this thing.
Right. In a second, I'm going to ask you about a time in your life when you felt unfulfilled. But for everybody just joining us, we are right here on Instagram Live. We're talking with Dr. Ayo Olatoye, who is going to be talking to us about his new book, Building Blocks, Things You Need to Think About whilst you're building the life of your dreams. And one of the nuances in that book is this sense of going from being unfulfilled to fulfilled, and the journey of it, the things that we learn during the process. So that's the conversation that we're having today. If you want to put some questions, go ahead and add them in the chat box. We are going to be answering. It's going to be a really, really short, informal chat. But yeah, so talk to them, babe, a little bit about a time when you felt unfulfilled.
Unfulfilled. So one of the things that I do is I am a doctor. Mm-hmm. And there was a time at a previous place I was working where I felt unfulfilled because it felt like get up on Monday, Friday, weekend, rinse, repeat Monday. I didn't really feel like I was achieving anything. I think we talked about the fact that, we get home from work, we sit down, we just like, we might eat something, we might watch a bit of TV, and, it's bedtime. And it never really felt like I was moving forward. Yeah. And I think, not that I think comparison is necessarily a good thing, but I was aware of like people passing me. I don't know whether that makes any sense or anybody can relate to that. But yeah, unfulfilled in that I could see people really in their element, and I didn't feel like that's the thing that I was doing. I was, getting paid well. I was, in a job that I love, but I felt like there was something more.
Absolutely. I really resonate with that. And I think a lot of people will resonate with this notion of, especially amongst sort of this culture, the millennials. Are we millennials or Gen Zs? We're not Gen Zs.
I think I'm older than all of that.
I think you're older than me. I'm a millennial.
Yeah, you are.
Somewhere above that. It's okay. It's fine. But like this notion, there's a real pressure to be doing something. Right? There's a real pressure to be like, you should be on the journey, you should be working hard, grinding. Monday you grind, this you do, or you should always be doing something. So there's a lot of pressure on people, and there's that sense of feeling like maybe there is more to this, but sometimes in the pursuit of the thing, you can achieve burnout. Just that kind of, you're pursuing, and then you're just like, listen, I'm tired. And I know you, and I love you, of course. So I know that you are an amazing go-getter, but have you ever hit the wall?
Yeah, many a time. Many a time. I mean, I think, so there are times in my life when I can remember, having difficulty sleeping, waking up early because I didn't feel settled. Thank you, Layla Blue. Millennials are between 78 and 96.
I don't think you're right there.
Is it?
I think I'm sure we're millennials.
That's a big gap.
Gen Zs are younger than us, I think, or younger than me. Everyone's younger than you, but no, I'm sure. I'm sure millennials. But anyway, you're talking about burnt out.
So yeah, I can remember being in a situation where I had difficulty concentrating, going to work and almost doing the bare minimum, clocking in, not feel like I was adding anything, and energy level just being low. And it's not like, you know, when you go to the gym and you're tired, but you're able to do stuff. It wasn't like that. It was like even the energy to go to the gym or walk and stuff. I didn't feel like I had that.
Yeah.
Nothing really excited me. I wasn't really looking forward to anything in the future. And I think that's what burnout looked like for me. You know, I'm not the energy that I need to be able to live my normal life, because I've just kept going and going and going and going and going. You know, I wasn't in a position, wasn't replenishing myself.
And I think let's talk a little bit about burnout, so so that people can start to maybe recognize some of the signs in themselves. So especially nowadays, we can't ignore the season that we're in with everything that's happening in the world and how it's affecting us as a people. Some signs of burnout that people can look at, like you're saying, you know, a lack of inability to sleep, lack of concentration, you know, this sense of not finding joy in the things that you're doing. You know, are you just feeling tired all the time? Are you, you know, you're not the energy to even do the things that would otherwise, you know, motivate you?
I think the sense of coasting as well, you know, every day is the same. Every day is the same. I'm not, you know, there might even be an awareness of the fact that I need to do this thing. If I do this thing in this area, I can move forward. But it's like I'm looking at the paper to fill, or looking at the form to fill, or, you know, there's emails. There's emails that I need to send or whatever. And it's just like I'm not like there's no reason. But time is passing, and I'm not engaging in even the things that I know that I need to do. So yeah, I think that's what burnout looked like for me.
And when you first started to look at, okay, I'm feeling burnt out, I've been feeling unfulfilled, what was the first step to moving forward towards fulfillment for you?
I mean, I think they say that, you know, acknowledging a problem is half the battle, right?
Yeah.
So I'm the king of just keep going. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going.
I've experienced that from you before.
And I think being in a situation where I had to acknowledge the fact that, you know, I'm not 100%, was a big thing for me. When I talk to people about health, I'm always talking about likening yourself or your body to a luxury car.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe you're hearing like some knocking, or, you know, some screeching when you're braking. You think there's something the matter, and taking the time to be with myself and be like, hold on, what is the issue? Are you okay? And I think taking some things intentionally off my plate. That's one of the things I had to like deal with in therapy. Like, stopping doing something is not failure. And that was a big thing for me, because I'm the king of keep going, taking some things off my plate so that I had a bit more of a mental bandwidth to be able to, okay, think, breathe, process, and come back and reassess and ask myself, really, what's important. I think reassessment is really good. It's a thing that we do in medicine. So in an emergency, once you've done everything that you have to do, and there's nothing else to do, you start again from the top and reassess and go back through, make sure there's something that you missed. And I think that was something that I had to do. You know, I realized that to keep going is to hurt myself, is to harm myself. So I need to stop. There are some things I need to stop. And, you know, depending on your way you were brought up and all that kind of stuff, sometimes there's a pressure to feel like you're going to let people down and all that kind of stuff. But one of the big things that phrases that I've learned in the last couple of years is that you help best from a place of strength. You know, so if you are not filled and you are giving, then it's like a bucket with holes. Eventually, you are going to run out. and you're no good to anybody in that situation.
Wow, that's really good. Like helping from a place of strength. For anybody just joining us, we are here. Dr. Ayo Olatoye is here. We are talking about what it means to go from unfulfilled to fulfilled. It is one of the topics that he covers in his first book, Building Blocks, things you want to think about whilst building the life of your dreams. We're just having a little bit of a chat really here, and we've discussed burnout, we've discussed what it means to feel unfulfilled, and maybe some of the differences in between. We've taken the steps to think about, okay, well, what are the signs of that? And now we're talking about the journey to being fulfilled. I want to ask you, how important is it to be on the path to fulfillment? Why shouldn't we just, if you're content, if you're happy, why shouldn't you just coast?
So, I wonder whether the two things are mutually exclusive, you know, like coasting and, you know, being fulfilled. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I feel a bit like, you know, the film The Matrix, where there's lots of just life being lived, and then suddenly his eyes open and he realizes there's something behind the scenes. And so like I said, I believe that everybody was born for something, to achieve something, to do something, and have a purpose. And not all things are the same size, but I believe that it was God's intention for the world to be incomplete without you, and for the world to be incomplete without the thing that you offer. You know, and if we are in a situation where we don't tap into that thing, then not only are we not going to get the life from the thing, because again, using your gifts and the things that God put inside you gives you life.
Yeah.
You know, and that is the thing that builds you up to be able to withstand the fire that everyone else is going to have to, you know, withstand. So I think people may not realize that they're coasting. But again, I'm not sure that coasting is compatible with, you know, feeling fulfilled.
Feeling fulfilled. Okay, cool.
If you talk about the signs of being unfulfilled.
No, talk about it.
So I mean, I think, and I can relate to all of these. So I've got feeling bored with everything.
Yeah, we've discussed that.
You spend a lot of your time daydreaming, just not having clarity about who you are, having no plan for the future, not being able to see ahead, don't know what your values are, overvaluing other people's expectations, and like becoming envious of other people in comparison. I think not being in a situation where your life gives you life.
Yeah.
Forgive my English.
you know,
life,
okay.
Yeah, like those things. You may be suffering from not being fulfilled.
Not being fulfilled. Well, I think for a lot of people who are watching that little image behind you, excited about Building Blocks, the latest book, I'd love it if you could read something from it, just something that touches on this and gives us a little bit of a snippet and an insight into what people can expect at the end of this month. Well, at the end of November. This month is November's tomorrow. When people can get their hands on Building Blocks, things you need to think about whilst building the life of your dreams. That's going to be out at the end of November. The link for that is going to be available as well. It is buildingblocks.live/pre-order. That's where you can get your hands on Building Blocks.
Yeah. So this is from the chapter, Do You Know You're Going to Die?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Now we have established that death is inevitable. Seems a silly thing to say, but I think the reason it's worth stressing is that most people are living like they will cheat death. I think if you were to ask most people, are you making choices knowing that one day the clock will run out? The answer would probably be, no, I don't think so. What are you waiting for? I believe that there are so many opportunities in this digital/information age to move ourselves forward, specifically in a financially independent state, as well as make a difference in the world. When it comes to making moves towards your financial freedom, if not today, when? When it comes to making a difference in the world in an area of your passion, if not you, then who? Most of us are playing it safe to some degree. I suppose the question is why? You're not getting out alive anyway. Why wouldn't you want to live as big a life as you could? What are you gaining by thinking or living small? Why not go for broke? What do you have to lose?
What do you have to lose? That taps into that, the fear, isn't it? The fear of something on the other side, isn't it? The fear of what being fulfilled looks like. You've talked.
I think, you know.
Yeah, go on.
Do you know when people go in these like adrenaline?
Yeah. It's and all that. All that I have zero interest in.
You know, one of the things that people commonly say after one of these experiences is that I've never felt so alive. And I think the reason is because on the other side of the fear, on the other side of the risk, on the other side of the metaphorical or physical jumping out of the plane and the free falling is, you know, that sense of I've done something worth doing. You know, who wants to just live, work, pay bills and die? You know, I think we were all born with, you know, a desire to change the world. We were all born with wide eyes and big dreams and imagination, and life just kind of beat that out of you. You know. As I got older, I realized, okay, so the older I got, the less things I was eligible for. The one that really hit me was when this was years ago when I was watching X Factor. And I realized that, hold on.
You realized?
I'm in the overs. You know?
I'm at over 28 now.
I'm in the overs, you know? So, you know, and these things happen and we set into the rut of just working and paying our bills, you know? And I think actually, there's probably more to life than that. And you probably grew up wanting to do more, you know, than you've allowed yourself to do. But on the other side of pushing yourself out the boat, walking on the water, jumping out the plane, is where you're really going to feel alive.
So talk a bit about that as we're getting ready to round up, because we want to respect people's time. Talk a bit about how somebody, not you now, but the person that's listening, what they can do, some simple, easy, few practical steps. First of all, you've taught them how to identify where they are, which is very, very important. You have to acknowledge whether, if there is a problem, what the problem is. But talk to them about some of the steps that they can take and what help there is available to them.
Yeah, so good question. I think one of my big phrases this year is take stock, take action, take stock, take responsibility, take action. I think figuring out where you are and asking yourself the honest question, is this the life that I would have imagined for myself when I was 10, when I was 15? And a separate but related question is that, am I happy that I am now living my fullest life? Because, you know, we go through life and society, whatever, tells you, okay, you are this. You're a doctor. You can't be anything else. You're a doctor, you know, or you're a pharmacist, or you only do podcasts, or actually you can only sing gospel music. There's so many things that we've been allowed ourselves to be boxed in and labeled. But ask yourself, you know, do you think that there's more to you? If you're happy, then are you doing it to the best of your ability with all your heart, pushing yourself out, jumping the plane and taking it as far as it can go? Because on the other side of that is where, you know, people feel fulfilled. So sit down and be honest with yourself, be quiet with yourself, and ask yourself those questions. Are you happy? With regards to if the answer is,
No.
I think there's more inside me. I think having a mentor is really important. So finding somebody who has done some of the things that you're thinking about doing and saying, look, I want to walk down the road with you and see what I can learn. That's really important. And having conversations, talking, and getting feedback about the thing that you're doing or the thing that you're thinking about doing.
Yeah.
There is a concept called illusory superiority. It's just a fancy word for saying that most people think that they are above average, but that doesn't make sense statistically because only 50% of people are, right?
Yeah.
So getting feedback gives you an honest appreciation of your skills, your communication, your affect, the way you come across, and all that kind of stuff, and it will help you move forward because most people aren't really interested in the nuts and bolts of actually moving forward.
Yeah.
For me personally, like I'm there's things I'm good at, but I'm not necessarily good at having conversations from a business point of view and that kind of stuff. And I'm learning. I'm putting myself forward in a situation and putting myself forward to mentorship. One of the things that we want to offer on the Master Builders platform is that yes, there's the book, and for me this is like dip your finger in and say, okay, well, these are the thoughts I need to think. But I guarantee it will be inspirational. It'll be something that will really move your life. But I want to be more than inspirational. And we've put together some packages for people who have said, you know what, when I've taken stock, when I have taken responsibility, the action I want to take is move myself forward and align myself with a community of people who want to walk in a similar direction. So if you have a look at the website, that's Building Blocks /pre-order, we've created some packages specifically for people who are like, I am serious, I want to go from unfulfilled to fulfilled, and I want to work with somebody who's done that journey and walk along the road with people who have done that thing. So have a look at the website, Building Blocks buildingblocks.live/pre-order.
Yeah, absolutely. buildingblocks.live/pre-order. I love the fact that you've given the packages because it really allows everybody who is thinking, am I feeling unfulfilled? Do I want to change anything about it? How do I go from where I am to where it is that I want to go? The wonderful thing about this Build Your Life package is that you're not encouraged to do it on your own. These are literally specific things that are tailored to you, including, personalized coaching calls, business strategy meetings, therapy sessions. This is really about you being the fullest version of yourself that you can be. It's not.
And I needed it all. I needed it all, So I don't think anybody should be in a situation of like, oh, maybe I needed it. I needed it all, And I think one of the last things I'll say is that I believe that we are body, soul, and spirit, and we have to be intentional about making sure we're taking care of all three parts of us. And I think the packages are really going to be able to help us do that. So it's something. It's something that I think. If somebody's interested and serious about moving their life forward and being coached and mentored, it'll be definitely massive value for you.
That's great. On that note, give the people, I like to ask you for a little nugget, just to say, apart from, tell the people that they can do this, that they are worth taking the shot on.
Okay. So I think
Sorry, I've thrown you off, haven't I?
No. I'm trying to not repeat myself because I said some things on the part one of the live. I think it's kind of like what I said before. I believe that the world is waiting for you to live your fullest life. I believe that God created you I believe that God knew that the world would be incomplete without you. And that we are lacking for the want of you using your gift to the fullest capacity. So we're waiting on you. We're waiting on you.
We're waiting on you. You that is listening, wherever you're listening from, whether you're listening to us live or you're listening to us afterwards, the world is waiting on you. We've discussed this before, where we've just been chatting about this thing about, you know, there is a frequency that you emit that is only unique to you. You are not created with an individual unique fingerprint to blend in and just do what everybody else is doing. If that's not giving you that sense of fulfillment, there are things that you are going to say that have been said before by lots of other people, but your frequency is important. People want to hear it from you. So take the chance, and you too can go from unfulfilled to fulfilled. For those of you who are catching us just as we end this live, we've been talking about going from unfulfilled to fulfilled. One of the chapters out of Building Blocks, Things You Need to Think About Whilst Building the Life of Your Dreams by Dr. Ayo Olatoye. That is going to be available on buildingblocks.live/pre-order. So go ahead and click on that link. And if you want to catch part 1 of our virtual book tour, you can do that on YouTube at Master Builders 2022 Building Blocks. We have lots of conversation on there, a lovely special performance as well that I know you're going to love. So thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you. All right, guys. You guys have a good evening. Share the video, join the channel, and continue the conversation.
Bye.
Good night, guys.